We will discuss a little bit about lobby mechanisms for recognition of the importance of civil society participation at the local and national level. This document was prepared there are quite a lot of information and case studies about the whole region mainly, and some parts of East Europe as well. Around 13 case studies. Mainly, this document is prepared for environmental organizations. It was a project we discussed before as well, called Masterclass, but by a regional environmental center based in, headquarters are in Budapest, Hungary, but its offices are all around the Balkans. And, but there are quite efficient tools to be used in any kind of lobbying campaign. And therefore, we will discuss the content of it briefly, because there is a lot of material, but it's good to keep in mind in any lobbying campaigns that were quite efficient, but some lobbying campaigns were not that successful, so we could learn from both case studies. So we could start with, well, background of lobbying. Why you think that we will discuss mainly about lobbying and not advocacy in terms of civic participation, which is, advocacy is also part of civic society involvement in different areas. In terms of civic participation and its relation with government, national and local, lobbying is more into place. Why? Because whatever is directed towards government institution is lobbying, and whatever is not, any campaign that is not targeted towards government, it's advocacy then. So that is more why is lobbying more as a part of civil society participation with governmental institutions. And one part would be grassroots lobbying, which means lobbying with citizens in order to change the, let's say, political agenda, or a kind of a specific laws that needs to be changed, and all the aspects that we developed, that we mentioned before. And another way of lobbying would be direct lobbying, called directly with institutions at central and local level. So, but we will discuss in the meantime. We will take part. There are some information inside the text, so we could go briefly in the context of lobbying. At the same time, we will citate a few case studies that are related to your countries as well. Some of you may be surprised, maybe your towns are also included. So, in the first part is building, how to build and manage coalitions. Very useful practical information, which are used in how to build civil society organizations, how to find ways of mechanism to raise the voice a little bit more so that it can be heard. So we'll just go briefly then on the first page. Compile a list of local organizations likely to join forces on a particular issue. Then the second is develop a list of well-known individuals who generally support similar issues. So on individual basis as well. Contact these individuals. Develop a steering committee of 6 to 10 reliable people. We just took some frameworks that we thought that it would be good to have in mind when managing coalitions. And be specific in the kind of action requested for each group. For example, they should be asked to prepare specific analyses, send letters to their elected officials, represent coalition in radio or TV programs, contact local press, and so on. And we have another case study in Macedonia. Macedonian Green Center Coalition. So we are talking about coalitions, how it was built. Why, this is the context why information starts. Why in 1991 it was evident that none of the political parties have any real green agenda. So this coalition have influenced governmental bodies in order, actually political parties to have this green agenda in place. And it was an effective story where afterwards, in upcoming elections, 2004, I believe, they had quite a significant part of their political agenda. Green environment was involved, so it was debated as well. Before this coalition had an influence, they didn't care that much about environment. But strategically, it could play a very good part. One person maybe to be part of the, also for the campaign, as it was mentioned before, someone who's a public personality, who has people know him, and so especially the person who they have trust. Otherwise, it might be another point of the coin if there's no trust with him. And therefore, different ways of coalition. But let's discuss a little bit briefly. When managing coalitions, it's good to coalitions to not in general in central level. Coalitions need to, of course, to take part from different areas of that country. So from rural areas, so that people represent the whole part of the country. Let's say it's more delicate, it's more work, there are more contacts, and also let's say if media is used, it's more like central media in central level. Because why? People who if we want to influence the whole at national level, the whole number of, let's say, on that sector who are spread it all around different cities and towns, they need to understand that information and to have, so that national media are targeted when spreading information. But when we discuss about regional or local lobbying campaigns, we then target local media and, of course, local institutions, but not necessarily central institutions, media, sorry. Why we think that? Because central media, let's say, or media at national level, they are not that interested in, many times we have to take that into consideration, because if it's news priority for central media who are based on a national level, then it's okay, but many times local interests doesn't apply on the whole national level. So then we just target local media, also local stakeholders. But of course, always taking in mind that legal implications. So central government then needs to be part if necessary. Let's say in education, which is without central government support, any changes in education won't be applicable, of course, right? Because there are changing curricula is a governmental part. But another point is how we could participate, so through different areas of involvement, and one would be lobbying as well. So we could go how to prepare a lobbying campaign. So there are some quite important steps who could be really applicable at your context. We will discuss about organizing the campaign, the strategic plan. Why is strategic plan necessary? Campaign objectives could be those specific objectives that we want to target, of course. It should be clear to every organization who takes part in that coalition, if we are talking about coalition, and every organization should give an input on that objective, strategic objectives that we want to target. Resource allocations, of course. It would be nice to if sponsorship is available or funding. Responsibilities need to be shared as well. Sometimes coalitions have problems themselves as well. There are cases where some coalitions, they don't agree between themselves. Well, there are, let's say, sometimes it's an attitude of maybe larger organizations, larger civil society organizations who have a little bit more experience